So, hey guys, today we'll be talking about the LR section of MBA CET and what it comprises of, the different sections, the difficulties, and how do you attempt those questions. So, usually there's just puzzles and input output, which is on one side, the difficult part, the lengthy side. And on the other side, we've got traditional logic, which is faster and you can expect a higher accuracy in those sections. So, we'll start off with Anay. He'll talk a few things about puzzles and input output.
Yeah, so basically about puzzles, when you start off with a paper, you have 75 questions. Out of those 75 questions, usually it's 25 to 35 questions that are puzzles. And then add to that sets like input, output, or coding, decoding, or some big question that you'll have. Now, these are all the sets that are there. The sets are questions where 5 questions or 6 questions will be only from one thing. मतलब ये 6 question right आया तो पूरा set right है वरना wrong जाने वाला है. तो you have to keep that in mind कि if you're attempting this, time ज़्यादा लगने वाला है इधर. Or वो एक one thing you have to keep in mind. Now, the first thing that you do when you see these 75 questions, first thing that I used to always do, I think Vidhan also used to do this, you go from 1 to 75 completely and you mark the sets that are there. So वहाँ पे जब भी question paper देखते तभी उधर आता है question 1 to question 7 is this set, like solve using these instructions for question 1 to question 7. So you click on question 1, then you click on question 8, because after 7, 8 will come. So once you're done with this, what happens is you get a very good brief overview of what the paper is. You directly come to know the start of the paper. When you're attempting the LR question, तभी पता चल जाता है कि अच्छा आज 6 सेट है पेपर में या आज 5 सेट है तो मुझे प्लान कैसा करना चाहिए. The plan for me always was to do puzzles later, so I'd always finish the traditional logic first. Now, speaking about puzzles, there are a couple of types in CET. पर CET में कैसे होता है वो रिपीट होते रहते हैं एक के बाद एक. मतलब टॉपिक्स जो होते हैं एक बार टॉपिक्स आ गए ना, वो मेन जो हेडिंग्स होते हैं वो एक बार आ गए तो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व हो जाएंगे उसके अंदर जो होते हैं. So the main headings would be matrix type, floor based. Floor based means vertically floor based. Then you have linear, so that is horizontal. Then you have 2 rows, so same linear but in 2 rows, parallel rows. And then circular, square, seating arrangement, triangular, octagon, jo chahiye wo, you can put anything over there. The logic stays the same.
The difficult variations where they include population.
Yeah,
oh,
and then
we'll be including those in miscellaneous. Right?
Yeah, and then after that you have the miscellaneous section. So that's all. So miscellaneous section is always something that you tend to leave. Vidhan and always keep discussing this. Miscellaneous question dikha, chhod do. If it's chhod do, matlab leave it for later. Don't leave it completely, because many times they are easy questions. But the idea is that these are questions which have circular relation, uske saath blood relation de dete. Abhi trying to solve this entire thing is a headache. You have half information about where they are facing. Everything is half. So Vidhan and I, in the top percentile course that we have, we made a very detailed lecture about how you select puzzles. CET is a game of selection. CET is only a game of selection and speed. Only these two things that matter a lot. Selection, because you need to know which puzzle to attempt. So once you're done selecting, going through the puzzles, going through the 6 or 7 sets that they have, you need to know which one to attempt first. And this has to be a split-second decision. Or even if you take 1 or 2 minutes to solve, you need to decide on the go whether you want to spend more time on it or not. Because as we said earlier, if these questions need 6 to 7 minutes to solve, and after 7 minutes, if you don't get any question right, you're out of the race.
Correct.
So its selection बहुत ही important हो जाता है, which is why we made a full dedicated video explaining exactly what is going on. And coming to input output, basically this used to be something that I used to really enjoy, and it's just something that even the video, even the course that we have, this is something that I have taken and I've made the video on this.
And for which we've got really good feedbacks, and it is one of the most viewed video in our course. So you all have to watch the input output video made by Anay.
Yeah, so basically there's a particular method or particular way that you have to think about these questions which helps you solve the questions faster. The main idea is only that, but एक चीज याद रखना है कि supposing exam में बहुत difficult set आ गया तो उसे छोड़ना ही है. Even if you're the god of input output, even if you think you're the best at it, you have the best methods, you think you know everything, final day पे नहीं हो रहा है, उसे छोड़ना है. Just keep that in mind. And any question that is there, select and leave it very gracefully and just go out.
It's just the logic. If you could crack the logic of input output, you could easily finish off the question.
Correct.
But if you're taking more than 3-4 minutes, just to crack that logic, then it makes no sense to go with the question. So
correct, exactly. So we'll take the traditional logic part in this. Now, just to say one thing, we have traditional logic and then you have critical reasoning as well. So Vidhan, go for it.
Yeah. So in traditional logic, you've got things like coding, decoding, syllogisms, direction sense, blood relations, inequalities. So these are really easy questions. And whenever you go for your CET exams, and if the puzzles are really tough, these are the things that are going to save you. So Hamesha, you should keep this in your mind that traditional logic to karna hi hai, and I should be great with traditional logic. And there's no rocket science with traditional logic. All you need is just one trick, just one way to solve those kind of questions which we've put in our course. So once you suppose watch a video on coding decoding, you'll be able to solve almost every question. Or if you watch a video on syllogisms in our course, you'll be able to solve all the syllogism questions, even the either or wale questions jisme students struggle a lot. So we've kept those things in mind because we ourselves have given the paper. I have given it twice, so I know things which students go through and the places where they need help. So we've kept all these things in mind. And coming to critical reasoning, so
Just before you go there, just one thing I wanted to add over here. Traditional logic jo hote hai na, that is the part where you have to solve as fast as you can. This is the part where people make a difference. Like whenever we used to compare our marks with other friends and other people who used to take the papers with us, we realized that when we compare to averages, traditional logic was the place where we used to solve faster. Means supposing everyone's taking 50 seconds to solve, तो हमारा 30 सेकंड में हो जाता था वो. तो वो जो 20 सेकंड जो मिलते हैं 10 क्वेश्चन में भी ये हो गया तो 200 सेकंड ऐसे ही मिल गए. 200 सेकंड मतलब उतना 3-4 मिनट जो भी है वैसे वैसे करके बढ़ते जाएगा और फिर वो पजल्स में काम आएगा, दूसरे सब सेक्शन में काम आएगा. दैट इज व्हाट मेक्स द डिफरेंस. यू नीड टू फाइंड दोस गैप्स वेयर यू कैन increase this efficiency.
yes.
So yeah.
And there are around 40 questions in traditional logic. So you should aim for at least 30-35 correct questions in traditional logic, so that you know whatever you score in puzzles is extra for you and would fetch you extra marks to get into that top ranks. So like Anay was saying initially, you can just skip all those puzzles. But what I used to do was I used to look at the puzzle, and if I used to see that it's doable and there aren't many parameters and nothing like कि ये बाहर देख रहा है ये अंदर देख रहा है, it's just constant uniform, then I used to try solving that question and then move on to the next traditional part. Because जब वो green green दिखता है ना that you've attempted, so that gives you confidence and would help you with the further sections. Now coming to critical reasoning, one of the toughest which I used to feel in logical reasoning, and it's not because of the toughness of the question, but it's because of the accuracy. So you should try not giving so much time to critical reasoning, because even if you do, the chances of getting right is very low. The accuracy is really, really, really bad in these kind of questions. But coming to a few critical reasoning type of questions like courses of action and conclusion, these are easy questions where you can easily find the answer. And for example, in course of actions, you don't look for anything extreme, but just a normal action that someone would take a logical action for that situation. Anna, do you want to add something to critical
Yeah, so
reasoning?
इसमें भी you have to just find those few questions which you are able to very fast do very fast. उसमें भी वो सिलेक्शन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है और वही अंकित हमारे कोर्स में कवर कर रहा है. Where you know there are these, like as you mentioned, strong and weak arguments, for example. You know that if it's not explained properly, you know it's not going to be a strong argument. There are certain rules that very easily eliminate options, and the idea in this is only eliminate options. You eliminate options, but once you're down to those two options that you're confused between, just spend a few seconds on it to decide. If you're spending a minute on this afterwards, after eliminating, you are wasting time and you should not do it. Because even after practicing for probably 7 6 7 months, we used to have accuracies of 60 70 50% sometimes. So end में वैसे ही होने वाला है. So just think, where do you want your marks from? CET में sectional cut off होता नहीं है. मार्क्स जिधर से भी लाना है वो ला सकते हैं. पजल्स में से लाना है तो लाओ, क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग में से लाना है तो लाओ. उसमें वैसा नहीं है कि सपोजिंग क्रिटिकल रीजनिंग सब राइट आ गए तो सीट पक्का है, वैसे कुछ नहीं है उधर.
And by the way, we are still learning critical reasoning from Ankit. Huh?
Correct.
So,
Yeah, in fact, when we watched these videos, we realized a lot of things that we didn't know in our prep. So who knows what would have happened if we had watched these earlier. But that's the basic thing. So to wrap it up, basically logical reasoning section, 75 questions. Very scoring if you do it properly. You need to be fast. You need to find approaches that are good. And for that, we created this course. Our idea behind this was to explain what approaches we used, because we were able to do it in a much shorter time. Logical reasoning was definitely something that Vidhan and I were extremely strong at. We used to always do it very fast, which is why we've taken the lectures for this course. And in the description, you'll find a link, which is basically a Google form, which has all the instructions about how to make the payment and everything. It is the most discounted price that you'll find. And yeah, it's a wonderful course, and we've got great reviews so far. If you check our Telegram channel, you'll find that. Yeah.
and also we wanted to help you all because I think we are the closest that you all can be with, who has given the exams and even scored really high marks. So all six of us, we wanted to, consolidate all the expertise and provide it to students that would really help them at a really cheap price. So with this, we'll be even providing our Telegram group ka link, which you can join, and we'll be updating you all with all the information and all the videos, different videos that we'll be launching. So go ahead, go down, click on the link.
Perfect. Thank you so much.